Welcome to Worldwood Day 2021 collaborative project. Today we have invited two very special artists to introduce an upcoming collaborative event, Frogwood. Frogwood 2021 will be held from July 25th to 31st in Oregon, USA. Please welcome Greg Wilbur and Marjin Wall. Hi, good to see you. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Let's start with Marjin, maybe.
Hi, I'm Marjin Wall. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I'm an artist working primarily in wood and frequently with turning as a base, and I do everything from practical utilitarian things to sculptures.
And Greg?
Greg Wilbur. I'm also from Portland, born and raised in Oregon. I'm a metalsmith, and I specialize in raising, which is taking flat sheets of non-ferrous metals, copper, silver, brass, and bronze, and I hammer those into forms. And they can be big bowls, and then I go into the sculpture part of it too. So I sculpt non-ferrous metals.
Great. And both of you are organizers for Frogwood?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, could you tell us what is Frogwood? What do you guys do there?
This particular event will gather about 30 people all across the spectrum of mediums, as many as we can get, and we work together doing collaborative pieces of art.
I see on your website you do like every 2 years now, but in the past, was that the frequency, or you kind of change it from time to time?
We did do almost every year. Then we expanded to get more people into a different spot than we had been doing these things. And then we decided to go every 2 years, but the COVID thing kind of scrambled stuff. So, and we miss each other. So, and we miss putting this on. I think this is just the greatest educational thing that is possible, especially for a mature artist if they want to do that. And then the camaraderie can be really exquisite, and just getting to know new people. And we can expand beyond our borders here in Oregon, in the United States, and then the world if we can get enough funding to do so.
Last year, because of COVID, what we decided to do was have a virtual collab, just try out the idea. We'd never done anything like that, but you know, all these artists were at home, disconnected from each other. And when we reached out and said, hey, would you like to participate in a virtual collab? We had a terrific response. So we had the virtual collab. We tried to focus on smaller objects, and some of them had to be sent around in the mail. And then people just picked another artist and collaborated, and then they eventually sent the pieces to Portland, and we had a silent auction online, and that worked well, but we really missed seeing each other in person.
Yeah, this is really a shame during the pandemic that we can only see each other virtually, and that's why the collaborative project in Worldwood Day this year, we call it GO3. We're doing it virtually as well, but yeah, we do miss seeing each other for sure. Frogwood started from 2007, and Greg, you are one of the original founders. What inspired you guys to start this event, and how did you get it started?
Well, my history of this is in 1998, I was invited to what I consider the granddaddy of these events, MLA collaborations up in Saskatchewan, Canada, way up there. I got invited kind of by accident. They weren't able to fill their billet, which was about 100 people. And a friend of mine, Michael Peterson, suggested me, so I went, and I really liked it. I'm an old team sport athlete that really loves that kind of concept. To me, they cross over here. So in that 1998 one, I drove there, which is 1,600 miles, through places I'd never been to, and I just had a great time. They liked me enough to invite me back to all of them since. And they're on a every other year cycle. In 2007, I don't really know that, but I guess you said that that's when we started. So I came back to Oregon. Actually, I was in Eugene, Oregon at that time. And then we moved to Portland. And at that time, I just loved these so much that I was going to be bound and determined to bring that to our community.
I see. So Greg, you talked about how to start, and Marjin, how did you get involved and when? Since when?
Well, I had been invited to that Emma Lake collab back in the early 2000s. And then because I always had a full-time day job, and I had trade shows and stuff that conflicted with returning to Emma Lake for years, even though I wanted to. And then several years ago, I was able to go back, and it just kind of rekindled my interest in the whole collaborative process. And I also talked to Greg, and Greg said, and I hadn't even realized that we one started here in Oregon. And Greg said to me, Marjin, you should be involved in this. And I thought, yes, I should. So that's how I got involved.
Hooray!
Great, that sounds awesome. So as you mentioned, Greg, you always have a group of artists in your events. Like this year is about 30, and in the past probably even more. And it's a group of artists with different expertise. How did you recruit them? And are there any rules or limitations for them to join you?
I wouldn't say there's any rules. I seem to be the one that recruits the most people because I guess maybe I know the most people in this kind of genre. And this will be the 29th event that I have done like this in places like New Zealand and Hawaii and France, all those in Canada. So I knew all these people, and you get addicted to them if you like them. It's not for everybody, but if you really like them and you like this kind of a way of making, it's pretty wonderful. So I would pick those people and ask them if they want to come.
We do, just sort of in the background, aim for a mix of local, national, and international. We aim for a mix of ages. We aim for diversity in terms of background, ethnicity, and that kind of thing. It's not always easy to get people to come. We also have scholarships for, especially for young people and people who traditionally haven't been included in this kind of event. And that's one of our goals, to make the event be inclusive and really have a diverse group of people.
So with this kind of background, people from different specialty and different ages, different experiences, how do the artists work together in your event then?
In advance of the event, all the names are sent out, so you can look at the other people coming and see what kind of work they do, and maybe if you're interested for something you would like to do with a different type of artist. But then also everybody brings, there's what we call a parts pile, and everybody brings some stuff that that anybody else can use, and it may trigger you to think of something. And then collaboration can happen in a couple of different ways. You might start a project, then pass that off to another person, and then they take it on. Or you could start powwowing together and figure, what are we going to do? And have it be that kind of a collaboration, and then everybody does their part. I mean, the collaboration can happen in a number of different ways.
Some people, again, have done these a lot, and they come in with an agenda. I'm going to make this, and this person's going to help me, and they may have pre-planned it before the event. I try not to do that. I want to come in with an open mind and learn as much as possible, but not to say that you can't learn that other way. But it is an issue with new people that have never done these things before. They tend to be lost right at first. And I think that's a good thing. But like Marjin just spoke of really cool things. So I think we should make her talk to the new people or everybody when we gather first and come up with this, because you said it really good, Marjin. That was pretty good.
Like, so in Wilbur Day, we have a collaborative project almost every year, and we do kind of like you guys. We have some experienced ones, we have some new people come in, and sometimes people don't know what to do. But I think it's always fun to see them come together, not knowing each other, but then you become friends and you become work partners, and then you work together. One of the quote from the participants I really love is that this project will make them work out of their comfort zone and create something they never have thought about. And I think that's the magic of collaborative projects. So I can see so many so beautiful refined art pieces your participants have done in your past events on your website. You have pictures there. And in the end of the event, it seems you would sell them through auction. So why did you guys do it this way, and how does it work?
First, when you collaborate on something, how could you possibly determine who it belongs to, especially if you have 5 people? But the other thing is, this event is about learning, sharing, etc. So we auction off all the pieces, and the funds go to help fund the next event.
They're also often a party at the end. So after it's all over, it's not easy to most all of them photograph everything, categorize them and all, and so they can do the auction. Then you got to set up an auction. So the auction in itself can be quite the event. Each year we've, I think, gotten better, and then COVID knocked it out.
Right.
So the online one, and Marjin took over on that, and that was that really worked. And it was a lot less work for all of us, not for Marjin, but it was, it was for the rest of it.
And this year we're having it online too, for some of the same reasons that we did. And the other plus about having an online auction is we've started to have a lot of followers from around the country who could never attend an in-person auction.
Right.
So it has some, I mean, it's nice to have an auction event, but there are some benefits of having an online auction.
We are going through a pandemic now, and because of that, so many events is stopped, especially for events like this. So, but people try to work around it. Like Wilbur Day 2021, we are doing the whole thing virtually, and as you mentioned, you did the same thing last year. But this year, you're bringing it back the traditional way, and how exciting is that? What can you tell me more about this event this year?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it this year. Well, I do every year, but and every one of these things is just really an event for me, and I just really love them. It's really helped my career in many different ways. We've got some special people coming this year that will fit right in, and we should just flow. I can't wait to see what really would happen. So, and the unknown is one of the best parts for me. Our setup, it takes a bunch of people working hard to get these things so that everybody can move in and just start working and don't have to worry about setting up so much. So that part is exciting too. So.
And Marjin, what do you look forward to the most?
Really seeing people, meeting people. Sometimes I find you're inspired to go in new directions by stuff you see or an introduction to other medium. But really for me, other than the educational aspect, really the sense of community, because I don't know about other artists, but a lot of times I'm working alone in my shop. So it's really wonderful to work with other people.
Right, I can imagine. Yeah. So my last question is, to run a project like this for so many years, I believe you guys must have encountered some very difficulties in the past. But what do you like the most about Frogwood, or a collaborative project like this, the most that will make you overcome all the hardship and keep it going?
Well, I just really like them. I think they're worth it. It is a lot of work, and there are roadblocks from here and there. A lot of them. Well, who do you get on the board that's going to be dynamic and do what you say? Which I shouldn't say that, but getting the people together to do this and having the love of it itself is not so easy, and it is a lot of work. And then how do you do the funding? We're here in America, which is not as socialistic as some places. So at least I think that I've had more support. I see some more support in like New Zealand and Canada, where they do have more of a thought in that way. We have grant writing, which we haven't done that well at, but hope to do it in the future by making, making more of us. This interview that you're doing with us right now, that's a feather in our cap.
Okay. Good. And Marjin?
For me, obviously I love the educational aspect and the chance to maybe have your work in new directions, but it's the connection really to the art community, and more than just wood community. And really, when I think of have some of the people I've met from doing these type of events over the year, they've become some of my better friends, and from around the country. And it's nice to feel connected in that way. And that's, a lot of times, as I said before, art can be a really lonely occupation, and it's really wonderful to feel connected. And it's like, even though you might be a completely different age or have a completely different background from somebody, you have this huge thing in common that trumps everything else. And it really can make you connect with people that you might, never have known otherwise.
Great. That's lovely. Yeah, I personally, I have involved in a few collaborative projects before too. I mean, I was not really the participants, but I just love them, to see how people interact and what they create. It's like one of the most beautiful things. Yeah, great. That will be all for today. Thank you both very much for being here once again, and good luck to your event next week. I know you're gonna have so much fun, and I can't wait for you to come back and tell me more about Frogwood 2021. Great.
Thanks, Mama.
Thank you. So for more information about Frogwood, please visit their website, frogwoodcollab.com, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.